Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a Monday edition of the Uninformed Fan. What a great song to get us going in. That's Winger 17 coming from a banger off of YouTube, and all royalties have been played, so please don't copy strike us. How is everybody doing today? What a wonderful weekend. Jeff, you're looking good. You're looking energetic, ready to go. We got lots to talk about, lots of drama on the docket. Whew. How was your weekend, buddy?
I understand. It was, I had to work a little bit, but I got a chance. We went, had a little birthday party for Shay's son yesterday. Landon Brecken Shea also goes by the acronym of Pounds. So went out there, LBS, bro. Went out there, celebrated him, gave some love. Got to see some people I haven't seen in a while. It was a good time. Pretty hot out though,
bro. It's brutal, man.
But it was cool. My goddaughter was out there. G was out there too, running around, being a little terrorist as she is. So that was fantastic. That was it. Went to work. Worked Saturday. Caught a little bit of sports, a little bit of football. I caught the tail end of golf yesterday as well, which was electric and really awesome coming down the stretch too. So
did Glover win in a playoff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Which
they went.
I mean, we're going to get into that on Wednesday, but once again, the Bad Burrito Boys, again, they were both on him. As you know, what's crazy is I met with my partner from the Live Life Media Group aspect, and he was talking about, I didn't know he played fantasy golf. I didn't know he was into it.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I told him, I go, they're on this guy. So, like, unfortunately, he'd already teed off. He goes, well, I'm going to try to get a live off. I wonder if he did. But, yeah, crazy.
He could have. Insane. They're on a different level, a different planet right now when it comes to some of this stuff. And it was funny. Paul was telling me that he walked in, he got his first chiropractic adjustment massage or whatever. He walked into his chiropractor. Chiropractor goes, he said something like, "Lucas Glover again? Really? Do we think he's going to repeat?" When he walked in, and he's like, "Yeah, I actually do." And because the guy has obviously been listening to the show, so starting to get our tentacles out, reach and stretch, and get
his chiropractor listens to the show.
It was a shout out to Gap Wedge Wednesday. So
wow,
it was pretty funny to hear that from him last night. So, but shout out to the boys. I know they're on cloud nine right now, and not only for them, they also love to hit, but for them, this is pride too, man. This is like documented stuff that they're on air, on somewhere, saying that this is what's going to happen, and for it to come to fruition, and for them to be on the roll they're on. I couldn't be happier for them. So yes, obviously the money aspect is very pleasing for them as well too. It's a great thing, but also the pride that goes along with it, which those guys take is very, very severe as well.
I can 100% attest to that. When I had the No Leans account going for baseball and posting those pics on Reddit, when they would hit, dude, you're just on top of the world. Regardless, of, half the time I didn't even put money on any of them, just because I had other things aligned, as But when you go 7 for 10 on a day, you're just like living on cloud nine. Everybody's like, "Yeah, I can't wait for your next picks." And then you go 0 for 6, and they're like, "You suck."
You suck. It's okay though. You got anything? We'll get it back. Don't worry, bud.
Marcus Buffington in the house. Marcus, I hope you're doing good. I hope you settled down a little bit from your early morning excitement over there. Marcus had a little bit of a.
Well,
I don't know if did you not see the group text over there? So in our fantasy baseball, our Trinity League, Marcus Buffington, he thought he had passed us and somebody else in the point standings, and that his seeding was incorrect. You could tell that he was a little fired up. There was quite a little paragraph that was put out there, but upon further review, once again, the computers did get it right. Yeah, Buff obviously does not like his playoff week 1 matchup, and he was looking for somebody else. My question is, Buff, who did you want? Did you want us?
Probably.
I don't think you wanted us. I mean, you had a great week last week, but I don't think you wanted none of this.
Also, listen, and from when we started, right? We didn't do very well to start the season, and then it's tough when you co-manage a team with somebody. Because you have to be very honest about what's going on and whose strengths are what and whose strengths aren't. And I immediately recognized, as the great manager that I am, that Tyson is better at fantasy baseball than I am. That's just a fact.
And you have said that over and over throughout the
from the time that you took over the reins and you made this team your own, and it became just you ask me small little opinions here and there. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? I think from that moment on, our team has absolutely flourished. It has been night and day. The sky's the limit, and behind your tutelage, through this team, we have been successful this year, which is amazing considering the hole that we started off in. That being said, we're one of the hottest teams in that league right now. I'd say points-wise, we are up there with anybody, any big dog that you want to throw at us. Mark had a great week against us. Obviously, 500-something points in 1 week is amazing, but we were right there.
Those stupid relievers.
Listen, good for Mark, dude. Like to have 3 kids and to be working full time and to go through the whole thing and still be able to put your mind toward this over and over again every single day. It's absolutely incredible.
I think he's a vampire.
I don't know what it is or how he gets it done, but man, and then, just also one of the best commissioners when it comes to fantasy with everything that he does. And the care that he has, and talking to you personally about everything that's going on, and not just making you, I don't know, like a number in the, I don't know. He does a phenomenal job at that.
Well, I do like this playoff format in here where it's 2 weeks versus the traditional 1 week. So my other league, I'm not in the playoffs yet. I did lose last week, so I'm a half game behind first place. But again, made some great trades. I made some great trades over there. Got Presley off the Astros for a closer to solidify that up. And honestly, if it wasn't for San Diego and Josh Hader just apparently never going anywhere or ever getting an opportunity to get a save, I'd probably be doing pretty freaking good because I also have I think it's Duran from the Twins. So I've got 2 of the best, and yeah. I mean, you've seen the tape. You've seen the tape. There's nothing on paper that I could do any better than this. But we do have a problem going into the playoffs.
We do.
Our number 1 shortstop is not traveling with the team heading into playoffs, and we don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of stuff that's been breaking over the weekend in regards to Wander Franco from the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, the story is kind of it broke loosely, and the reason why it broke loosely, and you won't find a whole lot of stuff on there, is just it was social media leaks, and it was all in Spanish. Now, I don't speak Spanish. I speak the bad words, and I can pretty much get, like, if I'm going somewhere, ¿Dónde está biblioteca? Stuff like that.
The more tequila I drink, the better my Spanish.
Correct,
yeah. I'll tell you that 100%. It's a factor that plays hand in hand with each other.
La mujer está corriendo. It's those types of things that I can get up. But there's been a lot of drama, and it's coming out of the Dominican Republic. So here's the reports. Now, I'm going to say this right now. It's all speculation at this point. We don't know exactly what's going to happen here. We don't know the details, but we have a pretty good idea, right? So the gist of it is Wander Franco is in a relationship with an underage girl. And when I say underage, I mean 15. Now, Wander Franco camp has come out and said that, he has had a relationship with this girl, and he hasn't hid it. As you can see that there are pictures on social media of them together. There's pictures of her wearing his chain. But he said that he went to the mother, who he knows, apparently, and the mother said that, yes, she is 18. Now, I have to believe that little nugget has to be true in order for him to be posting social media pictures of himself with this girl. Because why would you post pictures of an underage girl? Regardless if you're too stupid to understand what you're doing. You're a multi-million-dollar athlete, and you're supposed to have people around you that are protecting you. So we'll get to that in a second. But then it comes out that after they end up in a relationship, the mother has now tried to extort Wander Franco, and he wanted a new Mercedes after this one, and apparently like $200,000 in cash. Now, again, this is all stuff that we're getting translated from deleted tweets off of X that have been deleted. So this is kind of what we're getting at. So the news broke yesterday's game. Wander didn't start. Okay, so there was already probably rumors of this coming out, and then halfway through the game, he was removed from the bench, went into the clubhouse, and now was gone for the rest of that game. And not only that, he did not board the plane to San Francisco to start the next series. And the Tampa Bay Rays have come out with a public statement saying, "We have heard of the social media stuff. We are looking into it, and we are on it," basically. And, so we did some digging. There's been a lot of confusion as far as what the Asia consent is, the Dominican Republic, all of that nonsense. It is 18. I think this is just a terrible position. It's a terrible position, regardless of what's going to happen. I mean, I think he's done for the rest of the year, probably. I mean, I don't see any way around it. I mean, initial thoughts. I mean, obviously, you know, it is what it is. You know, there's no turning it back. The stuff happened. But what are the initial thoughts out of this? Obviously, I mean, the plane is coming out of some type of an extortion scheme. So, was it a setup?
I mean, it sounds like it, and it'll be tough. I'm assuming in a few years we'll get some kind of a Netflix documentary on this that'll come out. I don't know what to say, man. Like I don't know, because it's so tough too, and it's like in countries that, you know, obviously in our country we have set the age of 18. Now there are certain caveats that you can have.
Depends on what state you're in, by the way.
Parental consent and state and different things such as that. But we all have our own individual moral compass where we turn to and we say, this is too young, you know, for this age, too old, and so on and so forth. And so wherever you fall with that, that is fine for your opinion. The fact of the matter is that this has got to get played out. Unfortunately, it's going to get played out on social media and in front of the public eye. Instead of being played out between the parties that are involved with this as well. And it's tough to really kind of wrap your head around. You know, I just heard about it, you know, last night when our buddy Sean Munson, you know, texted us and said, "Oh, it looks like Franco's done for."
Yeah, I thought you were trolling on that. You're like, why are you?
I had no idea what was going on. I'm at work.
I almost said, Jeff, Google is your friend here.
And I see this text from Sean, and I'm like, "Oh man, you're such a hater! I can't believe you're rooting for injuries for people and blah blah blah." And I go, "But what happened?" And then somebody said something, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, that was probably the wrong reaction to that." Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he's getting his sort out. So from what I understand, he made a few payments already to the family or to the mother or to something like that. From what we've read, correct? That he's already paid out of his
I think there has been some exchange of money. Correct.
Yeah,
and apparently the threat was, well, we want this more. If not, we're going to go public with it. And
that's, and I don't know where his mental headspace is too. Like, did he? Because obviously he's paid out, so now he's known for a little bit that she is not of the age, correct? And then since that payout happened, was there then more relations after the payout? Right.
Well, that's a great point, though. So like, the point is also, like, did he just give her money because, hey, he's dating the girl and he was helping him out? And then when they said, hey, can we get this? Then he's like, no. And then they're like, well, by the way, she's only 15 if you don't do that. That's a great point, is where in the timeline are we? Because
where in the timeline did he find out? And then after he found out, was that his, like, after he found this out, did he then have to go and say, it's okay, I don't really care, blah, 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 I love you, whatever it is, what it is? Or did he say, oh, you know, let me fall back real quick? And then when he fell back, then it became an issue. And then it became, you know, whatever. So there's more information that we need for context before I can put my full judginess on that you're asking me for. But it's just an unfortunate situation all around. And, you know, I hope that for the kid's sake, because he just signed, what, $200 million? Jeremy, what was the contract he just signed?
It was big.
Last year.
All I'm going to say is this, is where is Team Wander Franco at? Where are they at? I mean, I'm not going to put up the pictures of this girl because she is underage, and we're not going to promote that kind of stuff here because she is a minor. But it doesn't take a genius to figure out 11-year, $182 million. It doesn't take a genius to look at her and say there's some questionable stuff here, right? She does look young. Could she be 18? Absolutely, she could be. And he is only 22. So I do want to point that out there. So if she is 18 and 22, that is only, you know, let's do some hard math here. That's 4 years difference.
But now, if you knew, you know, we're...
That is true. That is true. So, I mean, we got to look at this a little bit differently. But again, my thing is Team Franco. Where's your manager at? I mean, these pictures are on social media. There should have been somebody raising a flag right then and there and checking the paperwork. And I'm sorry that if you feel that way, yes, love is love. But unfortunately, this is the world that we live in. When somebody sees a man of money, especially living in, I don't know what their situation is, but the fact that they're asking for Mercedes-Benz and a couple $100,000, I'm assuming that they're not well off. I'm assuming that they need the money. So unfortunately, this does feel like a little bit of an entrapment to me, which is unfortunate. But again, where is Team Franco? Where is the manager at? Where is your sports agent? All of this. The pictures are on social media. Somebody should have done due diligence here to get this done now. Again, we talked about it well. You know, can this be charged? Can he be prosecuted? And I think that we both kind of agreed this happened in the Dominican Republic, so it's really up to them. However, I do believe this is going to fall on the MLB player personal conduct, and he is going to be suspended. I think he's going to be suspended at least the rest of the year. And that is just an absolute blow to the Tampa Bay Rays, who once again are having an amazing year. Again, to lose the number one shortstop in the league going towards the home stretch. Now, regardless, this is bigger than baseball. But again, I don't see him coming back, unfortunately.
It's a tough lesson for a 22-year-old as well, too. You know, regardless, I'm not sure, you know, obviously you signed this contract this offseason. It's, you know, pretty hefty. And, you know, I don't know if he's dealt with these things in his life, or if they've had, or if when they give you a bag like that, they give you training, right? And say, listen, you are now worth this amount of money. In your country, we know what this means. People will try to come at you. You know, if you look at, you know, David Ortiz getting shot, you know, the DR, you know, they're like, people will try to come at you. This is how you need to move. This is the security, the personnel that you need to move with wherever you go. This is what you need to look out for. So I hope and pray that there's some kind of training for these kids.
There's not.
Come over, that MLB would take responsibility in doing that and trying to educate them instead of just giving them all this money and then saying, good luck, go figure it out.
There's not, but it's on them. And, you know, and it's on an agent. And this is part of what I'm talking about as far as a good agent does, right? For those of you that haven't watched the series Suits, I highly suggest you watch it. It gives you a little bit of an insight to what good professionals do for their clients, right? So if I'm a sports agent, I know Wander Franco. I know where he comes from. I know everything about him. These are the conversations that I have with him. I have a PR team for him. I have media training lined up for him. When he goes to get into a relationship, I know every single detail about the person that he's talking to, texting to, Snapchat. I tell him stay off all social media. There's things that a good agent should have done. And regardless of what happens of this, there's no way that nobody else should have been involved in this relationship that knew about this girl. All it took was a simple background check, a simple looking up something. If the pictures are on social media, then the agent should have known about it. Bottom line, managers, everyone should have known about it. The sports agent, you're not doing your job. This isn't a one-night thing. You need it. That's who I'm most disappointed in, because that is your job, to protect these kids and protect the players from themselves. That's your job. And you're taking 5% out of this right here. So what is that? Could be worth up to $223. You're making close to $13.5 million off this one person. And you can't keep them from getting into an underage relationship or being trapped. Like, come on, bro. Look yourself in the mirror. You took the check and you just sat back and you kicked up and looked to your next client. You got to be involved. This is what Jerry Maguire was talking about back in the day. More personable. You need to know your clients. They're not just a number on a piece of paper. Unbelievable.
You ever watch Ray Donovan?
A little bit. I started watching a little bit. Yeah.
Isn't that like the first episode where like the NBA players in the hotel room with the young lady, and he gets called in and he busts through the door and he's like, "What are you doing? She's cool, blah blah blah." He's like, "You wrap it up?" And he's like, "Yeah, but you know, I got rid of it, blah blah blah." And he goes, "Check the champagne bucket." He reaches down the champagne bucket, pulls it out. It's been tied off. She was planning on keeping it on ice, and then saying, I'm pregnant. Like there, you know, there's schemes out there. You got to be careful for, man. You are worth way too much money. You know?
Exactly.
And it's very unfortunate. There's going to be when I say it's unfortunate, is that if he didn't know and this happened, and this is a lesson that he's learning, the price that he's going to pay for learning this lesson is way more than what the regular person has to pay. unfortunately.
Absolutely. TJ, you're absolutely correct. And to his point, like I said, it's just going to depend on what the Dominican Republic wants to do. I would have to think it's probably a little bit, I'm not saying shady organization, but I'm pretty sure there could probably be a check slipped under a door somewhere to be not prosecuted for that. But again, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they have a civil suit. It's just garbage.
Are all the pictures taken in the DR? Was there any pictures that were taken while they were here in the States together in Tampa? You know what I mean? Like,
it's going to get really nasty, and very
messy.
I don't see him playing the rest of the year. And to your point, if it does get prosecuted, he goes to jail. You may never see him again.
Yeah, and then so does Tampa Bay come out ahead of this right now and say we've gone ahead and taken the fortitude to suspend Wander Franco the rest of the year while this matter gets handled or whatever, to kind of take the power away from MLB a little bit to try to get in front of it possibly. I don't know. I think maybe that's something they work with MLB with hand in hand, where they do it themselves while everything gets sorted out, so MLB doesn't have to come down and make the decision. So
I don't know, man. What a terrible situation.
Where are they at? Not to be completely insensitive, but where are they at in terms of standings?
They're in second place.
Okay.
They are 3 games behind the Orioles.
Man, the Orioles are just on fire right now, huh?
They are on fire.
Good for the Orioles. But, it is funny looking at this, right? Orioles, Twins, Rangers. Like, I don't think these are the teams that we had expected to go in. But that's why baseball is baseball,
Actually, I had the Twins. I had the Twins this year.
You'd have the Twins.
And I had the Rays, and we're only 3 games back. I think we're okay there. The Astros are 2.5 games back of the Rangers, and I think we picked the Astros there. Looking over at the NL East, obviously the Atlanta Braves are just on complete cruise control at this point. I'll be looking forward to see when they start resting their players. The Brewer, the Central, the Cubs have kind of cooled down a little bit here. That not necessarily too bad. I mean, they're 6-4 of the last 10. The Reds are 3-7 over the last 10. But the Milwaukee Brewers have just been putting it together. They're 7-3 of their last 10, and they're just continuing to win games. So the Cubbies got a little bit of work to do here. We're 3.5 back. I do believe we still hold on to the wild card as I'm looking here. No, we are now a half game back of the wild card. So the Cubbies got a little work to do here. We need Marcus Stroman back. We need money. Sorry, looking at that comment. We need Marcus Stroman back, and we need him to produce as he did before. As I said, moving down to the home stretch here, Jameson Taillon, or whatever, how you pronounce his last name, is starting to show his ugly head again a little bit, reverting back to what we saw at the beginning. So it's all going to depend on the pitching. When you got Kyle Hendricks out there that continues to mow people down, I mean, and that's your your best pitcher, you're not going to go very far when it comes in terms of playoffs. So I don't know. We'll see.
40 games left, MLB-wise, 40 for each team, 40 or 50, somewhere around there. So we are coming.
Yeah, they're about 129 games. Yeah.
I mean, it's just. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see coming on the stretch. Obviously, the Angels have just completely. Do you think the Angels regret not trading Ohtani there? I mean,
I don't think that they do.
Went for it. They went for it, and then they were worse than what they were before they went for it. And so
I think that it was. I would have to think that this is just more of a fan base move, right? Either you weren't going to get what you thought for him, or you said, you know what, the fans, haven't gotten a winning team in forever. We might as well just say, hey, we're actually involved this year, so that way when he leaves, we can say, well, we tried. I think that could be more of the mentality. But what a disappointment! The Angels are just but they also been without Mike Trout for forever. But just what a poverty organization that looks so good on paper. Like I said, you're going to waste Mike Trout's career in Los Angeles. Could be one of the best baseball players ever to play the game. And you have Shohei Ohtani with him that is the best player in the game right now. And you still can't get a 500 record. I don't know. Meanwhile, you have teams like I just don't get it.
Like, guy might win the Cy Young and the batting and the I don't know. It's insane.
What a crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we did have some NFL action over the weekend, and I have to say, after going through a little bit of our predictions Friday, I realized that, we kind of glanced over those, so I just wanted to kind of put that out before everyone locks in their bets here based on the overs. We are going to take a little bit of the preseason information that we get in the final week going into it. We are going to revise our picks and to see exactly where we stand as far as what we saw versus the preseason, and do we stick by those predictions going into the season?
I think Friday was more of a
10,000 foot.
We're welcoming football back, right? So we're welcoming football back. This is what happened while you were gone, right? Away from football. These were the transactions that were made. These are the new things that were moving around, pieces that were happening. This is kind of what we think will happen before the first preseason game is even played. This is where we think there's some value in, just based off of preseason hype and different stuff like that.
And go ahead.
No. I was going to say, so that was kind of like where we went from, and it did run a little bit long. I think we're probably going to only do 2 divisions this Friday, and then we'll do 2 more after that for the AFC, and then we'll kind of move on and do kind of a total pick thing closer to the start of the season. But we were talking about this stuff before the preseason started, so we're not
correct
100% ready to rock and lock these picks in and put our hard-earned money down yet.
Correct. So, let's kick it off. Last Friday, we'll kick it off with the hometown team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, some takeaways from this game. Baker Mayfield, he looked good, but he only threw the ball 6 yards. Even the touchdown pass, which was very good, was 8 yards, I believe. It looked to me like he was coming out just very conservative, like somebody that was trying not to lose his job. And he did that. He had 136 passer rating. They named him the player of the game. I think he went 3 for 4 or something of that nature.
He was 8 of 9.
8 of 9, sorry. I knew he only missed 1 pass. But again, all of the passes were 5 yards or less. Then, we saw Trask come in. He looked very, very nervous to me when he first came in. He had some big completions over the middle. Penalties really hurt Trask when he was in there. The Bucs in general had a ton of penalties in this game. And then, of course, we had to, he was running from his life. The offensive line has some struggles. He did have
He is terrible. Let's just put it out there. Luka Decky cannot
Did you see the Pewter report on him?
No.
Might want to check it out. They actually analyzed his whole game, and apparently they said that he wasn't as bad. He actually had a pretty good game. He had 2 blown plays, which obviously almost had Trask running for his life. But they gave him an overall improvement. You might want to check that. I didn't read the article. I was like, I'm not even buying into this.
That's Ira Kaufman, right?
I don't know who wrote it. But, he did have the interception, which a lot of the commentators did say that D-back just made a great play. He covered 11 yards in like a snap of a finger. But to me, the Bucs looked a lot better with Trask behind it. They looked like they were spreading the ball out more. There was completions over 10 yards. However, I have seen a little bit of noise coming out of Bucs camp that Baker Mayfield has already internally been named the starter for week 1. Doesn't really matter what happens the rest of the preseason. So I haven't been able to validate that, nor have I been able to discredit it. So I guess we'll just see what happens. But, obviously Trask is going to get the start here week 2 against a Baltimore Ravens defense that who knows who they're playing. If they're playing their number ones for any stretch of it all, it's going to be a very, very tough time for him. But we'll see. But I would definitely have to say after, watching that Bucs game that unfortunately it does look like Baker Mayfield has the advantage.
Some stuff to shake out and see what happens the rest of the way. Obviously, it's a good start for Baker. The kid who we mentioned and who I was really high on, I said Trey Palmer, is going to come out, and in my opinion, he's going to light it up this year.
He did look good. At
LSU, he catches the touchdown pass, obviously 4 for 33. Listen, I want to see them play with the ones,
I don't think. When are we going to get that? I have no idea.
Are we going to see Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Russell Gage out there with Trey Palmer to go along with, your Cade Ottens and, Koki Fs and, let Rachaad White run. And I would like to see that with them on the field.
This is what I think is going to happen.
As opposed to this mixed match of certain linemen are playing, the running backs aren't playing. You got backup wide receivers. It's
here's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to do the exact same thing game 2. None of the starters are going to play. Then you're going to see Trask go out there, get whatever, and then whomever they deem that is going to start. What do we have? We have 3 weeks. Yeah. Then week 3, you will see that starter with the number ones for maybe the first half of the of preseason week 3. I think that's what you're going to see. and then I mean, because they're not going to give him a whole lot. They don't seek that. They have a whole lot, but I don't see Mike Evans and those guys starting game 2. I don't, unfortunately. I think you'll see Baker Mayfield and all of those guys start week 3 to give them a little bit less opportunity for injury. But that's my take on that one.
Obviously, George Pickens has the nice catch for 33 yards and the touchdown off of one target. And we'll get more breaking down into certain player specifics from the Steelers. In my opinion, I think George Pickens is an incredible talent. The reason he makes amazing catches in traffic is because he gets no separation from DBs. So it's like 6 and 1, half a dozen the other is Pickens going to be able to or Pickens going to be able to hit Pickens over and over again. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But listen, 27-17, Pittsburgh gets the win.
I'll tell you the first team Pittsburgh Steelers offense did look really good. Now again, they're not playing against the Bucs' #1 defense, so I mean, you have to take everything here with a grain of salt. You're just kind of looking for overall cohesiveness and teams that are playing together. I didn't see that at all from the Bucs, even with their first drive. And then after that, there was a lot of mistakes. Looks like a very undisciplined team once again. And shocker, that's the mantra. Todd Bowles. A lot of penalties continue. They're going to pick up right where they left off as far as one of the most penalized teams in the NFL. But we'll see. I mean, hopefully they get their shit together.
I hope not.
We'll see what happens week 2 with Kyle Trask starting. I would assume that Baker Mayfield will not be playing at all. I know that I think they originally said that Baker Mayfield would basically do the exact same thing that Kyle Trask did, take over the second. So we'll see what's going on. I will say that the third string quarterback did look the best of all 3 of them. And they did say that was coming in because he's very familiar with this offense and he's ran this offense before. So he's very, very comfortable in it. I think that just bodes very well for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as far as that they have somebody in there that can show them the path of that offense. But we'll see what happens. Just a very
average 6.5 yards, per completion. Anyway.
What was Baker Mayfield's average?
7.
Kyle Trask? Might as well just get him off.
9.9.
9.9, baby. We're stretching that offense.
Yeah, it's a yards per attempt. So.
And I'll tell you, so, wrapping that up. So we'll see what happens with that. Moving on to Chicago Bears,
per completion.
The Chicago Bears are winning the Super Bowl here. I mean, we might as well just go ahead and crown them. I mean, it's over. You had one pass to DJ Moore, touchdown. Another pass to Khalil Herbert, touchdown. I mean, come on. I mean, just give him the title right now. They're winning the Super Bowl, 100%.
What a start for DJ Moore, huh? He touched the ball once and goes 60 yards untouched. Listen, the thing that I will continue to hone about Justin Fields, I need to see you make the simple pass. I need to see you make the regular, 5-yard slant, 9-yard out, and that screen pass to DJ Moore is the epitome of what we know. The talent is there, and then Justin Fields. The pass DJ Moore catches down here,
it was behind him.
Behind him and low, to his knees, but he catches it and then awkwardly and then goes off.
But I will say, I think that's where the ball had to be going because there was a defender coming in, and if you would have hit him in stride, I think that defender would have got a hand on the ball. That's what I'm going to go with. So he put the ball where it had to be.
Khalil Herbert with an incredible run as well too. You think he's going to get tackled down there around the goal line and then just ends up pushing through. And like I said, we talked about Chicago. Khalil Herbert's a guy who's getting underdrafted this year. And he'd be a guy I'd look for in drafts. I mean, that Chicago's going to run the ball. What that's going to be up there.
I did say one interesting stat that they said for the Bears, who obviously had the #1 rushing attack. But if you took Justin Fields out of it, they were 16th. They were middle of the pack. So, I mean, I think that does weigh heavily on it. But even the defense looked pretty good.
David Montgomery, though.
Don't worry. Okay, we're not going to have any David Montgomery slander on this, okay? Even though he's with a division rival, we're not going to slander David Montgomery, okay? He's a good dude, put up good numbers for us, appreciate it. I do believe that the Bears have a great 3-headed running back in this team this year, and I think you're going to see a little bit more of that. But again, the defense played very, very well. A lot of ball hawking going on, a lot of crisp tackles. I don't see anybody stopping them. Not one.
David Montgomery is like a homeless man's Maurice Jones-Drew. About the same, just a very average skill set.
You done?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I'll tell you, one of my surprise games and surprise teams over the weekend was the New Orleans Saints. Whew. I might have been wrong about the New Orleans Saints because they looked very sharp with that first string offense. Michael Thomas, Olave, Carr, not even they don't. I mean, Kamara played, but I mean they're not going to have him for the first 3 or 4 games. I can't remember what it is, but they looked good. They looked really, really good. And to be in that division, I don't know. I would have to say, based on overreaction, preseason week 1, there's no way that they don't win that division. Overreaction, preseason week 1, there's no way the Saints don't win that division.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that I'm unbiased here by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, if you can see behind me right here, that's a picture of the Bucs winning the Super Bowl, and my reaction.
It's crooked, by the way.
Okay.
Bust out the level.
Unbelievable. Listen, sure, Derek Carr looked good on that drive that he had. Jameis came in after, and I didn't think I looked at one point and I was like, oh, Jameis is like 12 of 13 with a touchdown, but Jameis still has the same problems, man. He's got like happy feet in the pocket. Like every time he gets back there, it's just like everything just seems very I don't know, rushed. He seemed so much more
almost like a crab dancing.
Process things much better. Florida State in its first few years in Tampa, but yeah, I mean they looked pretty good. You know, Juwan Johnson could possibly be a beast this year. We'll see what happens. Kamara looked really good though. He looks fast. He looks faster than he has in previous years, and I know he's going to come off those first 3 weeks and just be a wrecking ball.
Well, I said that I think I was listening to the Saints broadcast, and they were just talking about how he's running with a little bit more passion right now because he knows he has something to prove with being out, and wants to make sure that he secures his job this year. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, they looked pretty good, bro. Pretty good. And the other one,
there's a lot of pictures of Derek Carr, and there was like, oh, look how jacked Derek Carr is. And it's like, that guy obviously skipped leg day because he's got some chicken legs on him. It looks like, one of those old, what were those little toys they used to have where the guy was just, like the little jack guy with the little.
The Flexi Man, the rubber?
Yeah. It's like all jacked on top and got nothing on the bottom. So whatever. Look, we'll see. I'm obviously I feel some type of way about New Orleans. Being a Bucs fan, we're not really cool with each other. Lattimore,
I thought
his hands at any time.
Oh, here we go. I thought it was hilarious that the Las Vegas started Adrian O'Connell, who has Derek Carr's number. I thought that was
there's definitely some pettiness going on.
I thought that was pretty interesting. Well, one of the games that I did watch, I'm gonna have to give you a little bit of flowers on, is I watched a little bit of the Green Bay Packers Cincinnati Bengals game and the Stretch Armstrong, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell you, the Packers looked good. And I hate to say it, but again, I don't know who they were playing. As far as first team, second team, but the Packers looked pretty good.
I thought everything that I've said about the kid was on point. So I in terms of the way that I've seen him and the way he played last year, the couple brief starts that he had, and then also just what I've seen out of training camp, the way that Jordan Love moves the pocket, the way he makes decisions with confidence, the accuracy that I've seen on his deep balls to Romeo Doubs and to Christian Watson, the ability from Matt LaFleur, which I've said I feel is going to be freeing for them, that they're out of the Aaron Rodgers business, and there's not this guy there that demands everything that Aaron demands, and that you have to kowtow to, as opposed to, Love can get out of the pocket and make a play. He's not afraid to get out there. He's not afraid to use his legs a little bit. I think just monster things are going to happen for Aaron Jones here this year. And I think those 2 wide receivers have a really good shot as well too. There's a tight end that they drafted as well. I gotta remember who the tight end is and figure it out. Is it anyway? They drafted a tight end, Luke Musgrave. Is that the kid?
I don't know. Not
out of Oregon State. who's supposed to be pretty good as well too. You spend a second rounder on a tight end. Normally, it's for somebody pretty good. So he's a somebody to keep an eye on as well too.
Any other game? I know you didn't get a chance to watch a whole lot of games. Any other games that you were able to catch?
No, I mean Miami looked terrible. That was egregious to me. I don't take anything really from that Giants Detroit game. Washington gets a win over Cleveland in the first post Dan Snyder era. Jahan Dotson made that really nice catch, and the more I go back to it, I think him and McLaurin will definitely be fantasy relevant. I don't know how great Sam Howell is going to be, but I do know he has weapons around him to be able to perform. And if you saw that catch that Jahan Dotson made, great pass, great catch. But he's a very interesting name that I think is going later on in drafts. That I think is going to be very interesting. I thought it was crazy too. You saw Russell Wilson pretty much play the entire first half against the Arizona Cardinals. The push that the Cardinals were getting on defense against the front line for the Broncos, to me, is a little worrisome. If you're somebody like me who has some Broncos love this year, I thought it wasn't great to see. Now Russell comes back, he ends up getting the touchdown. Cortland Sutton gets a few balls. I think Jerry Jeudy is ready to have a breakout season with Sean Payton. I think Russ can be much, much better than he was last year. If you look at how Drew Brees was able to do very well in terms of moving the pocket, getting outside the numbers, I think Russell can do that this year. But the line was a little worrisome to me. Maybe it was just first game jitters. We'll see how they perform going forward the next two games. But if they continue to just get pushed around like that, that's going to be.
I wasn't really impressed with the Denver Broncos, to be honest with you. I watched a little bit of it, and I saw a little bit of the same old Russell. Getting flustered into throwing the ball where he shouldn't. So I agree with you. I think everybody in America agrees with you. The Denver Broncos should be much better than they were. Russell Wilson should have a much better year than he did. But again, week one overreaction. It's not going to be easy. It's not.
There's two other takes that I have about week one overreaction while we're doing this, and one is that Anthony Richardson, I thought, threw some great balls with touch. One of them gets dropped. It's a corner route that they're thrown to the end zone, kind of one of those angle routes where the guy's going toward the pylon, and he threw this little sidearm little flick that was it dropped it right into the basket. Tight end ends up dropping it. Could have been a touchdown and a nice little 46-yard play. Instead, it goes for nothing, and they end up having to punt the ball back. But he also had a terrible interception as well, where I don't know, there's a miscommunication between him and the
I was going to say, I think that was more of a
miscommunication. But listen, these things are going to happen with a rookie quarterback, especially a guy like AR. There was a good story that I was listening, and actually our good friend Ian Zeese was telling me about it, and he was saying that there is the rookie symposium that they have every single year, and all the rookies go into it, and it was a lot going on, whatever, so on and so forth. They go into this big room, they have the symposium, guest speaker goes, everybody goes to leave, and as everybody's walking out, the room is just trashed. Right, there's stuff everywhere. Everybody left bottles and bags of chips and just stuff everywhere. And the guy from the symposium is standing there, and everybody empties out, and there's one guy left, and the kid's walking around picking up the trash, getting rid of it. And the guy's like, hey, son, you don't got to do that. Someone will do that for you. And he goes, it's unacceptable for us to walk into this room and leave it in this manner when it was in the manner that we went into. And that person was Anthony Richardson, who was cleaning up the stuff at the rookie symposium. So I think a lot of those things you can't teach character, and guys rally around that, and he becomes a leader of men. Now, I like the kid. I like his moxie. I like everything about him. And listen, I'm a diehard Florida State fan. I don't care. I like Anthony Richardson. I think he's due to have a really good year this year, and I'm excited for him.
Got lasers going off back there?
What's up?
Sounded like there was lasers shooting off back there.
They are. They're very consistent on what time they come and cut my grass.
It's the grass guy. Okay.
This is a great company that we love very much, and they are usually very consistent on the time. Usually the time is 9:45. So they did come through at 9:45, but now we're in a point where they are cutting the grass, and then they're coming back to doing the edge up.
Wow, they're there for 2 hours?
Well, they have 20 houses in the neighborhood.
Oh, so they do it all at once. And
I think they hit everything at once, and most of the they don't have fences or anything like that, so they can kind of hit like all the backyards at one time.
Makes sense.
Kind of a thing, you know what I mean? And kind of like roll around. So that was it. Any thoughts you had on Anthony Richardson?
I didn't see it a whole lot, to be perfectly honest with you. At some point, I got so bad. I'm just so frustrated watching preseason football because there's so many bad stuff going on that it's kind of unwatchable. So after even the Bears game, after the first couple of series, I pretty much turned it off. After I, got my confirmation that we're winning the Super Bowl, I was like, let's get something else on. So, I like I said, my biggest takeaways were, one, obviously the Bears are winning the Super Bowl. That the Saints I might have been wrong about, and the Green Bay Packers are going to be a little bit more formidable than I thought. The Detroit Lions look pretty good as well. But again, until I get to week 3 and I can actually see starters, I can't make any judgments because you don't know who they're going against. And that's the thing is like the Tampa Bay with the Baker Mayfield, and Trask in there, there was second and third string linemen in there. You got your second and third string. So once again, we're not having a true quarterback competition where they're both playing with number ones.
Right.
So
that's what we want to see. There's one other take that I have from preseason. Were you ready to move on or no?
Absolutely, Jeffrey. I'm here for you.
So the one other thing that I saw is, so Trevor Lawrence comes out, and Jacksonville will be somebody that we touch on, but the Trevor Lawrence comes out and first play from scrimmage against Dallas, or first pass play from scrimmage against Dallas, literally throws a pick. Terrible decision. You got a guy wide open in the flat right in front of him, decides to try to hit a ball over the top in the middle of 3 defenders, gets picked off by Dallas. From then on, when he came back out, I mean, he hit his combo of him to Ridley this year, I think is going to be, when I go into a fantasy football draft this year, we always say there's like a guy or two that you want to leave that draft with. Ridley is one of those guys that I want to leave that draft with. And I don't mind leaving with Trevor Lawrence either. I think they're both going to have breakout years this year. Ridley on these corner routes is just destroying DBs. Trevor's putting it right on the money. He comes back, throws a touchdown to Christian Kirk as well. When you add in the Evan Ingram, we'll see what Etienne can do this year. I think Bigsby is going to be a little bit of a factor, so kind of keep that in mind. But
did Ingram even play?
I don't think Ingram even played. But I think, man, I love Ridley this year. To your point, Ingram is my guy that I'm targeting on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we're going to break this down on Friday. And for that very reason, is because I think once teams realize that Calvin Ridley is the real deal, he's going to get double teamed. And when you put Ingram out there, who's a 6'5" guy, plays tight end, moves around wherever, I think that's where you're going to get the opportunities because people are going to be doubling down on Ridley as well. So, yeah, but I did bring up the stat line. He was obviously threw the one pick, but he was 5 for 6 after that with the touchdown, 36 yards. Yeah. So his first throw was a pick. So he went 5 for 5 after that for 36 yards, got him down, scored the touchdown. I don't know. I'm kind of all in on Jacksonville this year.
I thought Jacksonville's got. I mean, you got Ingram, you got, like you said, Kirk, you got Ridley. I mean,
Etienne.
Yeah, I mean that's
decent
just
line.
As far as wide receivers go, I mean that's a pretty good core.
Yeah, fantastic.
TJ, man, just you better hope you're not picking in front of me, dude.
Being the best man win take. I just figured out how to pull up chat now. So if you got any questions or if there's anything that you want to tell me I suck at, feel free to go ahead and.
Because obviously, if somebody told you sucked at something, that wasn't being translated. I read that comment first if it was something talking shit about you.
What comment?
Nothing, Jeff. Nothing. I apologize. Let's move on. So, anyway, biggest takeaway from week 1 is I still can't get over the skill gap between the number one line and the number 3 line. It's really bad football when you start getting into some of these other lines. It's pretty bad. Yeah, 70th episode, Jeff finally figured it out.
Yeah, whatever, TJ. Some of us learn at different rates than others. All right, we're not here to shame uninformed fan. We accept everybody for who you are. Whether you be an idiot or not, like me. It's okay. We're here for you. It is the 70th episode. Man, any thoughts about the previous 69?
Coming up on episode 100. And, thank you for all the new people that have come. Obviously we start putting out some shorts that are starting to gain some traction. So we welcome all new viewers. I'm sure there'll be some wonderful shorts up of this one as well. Shout out to our editor, RJ, out there. Appreciate you, my man.
Yeah, we would like to not have more episodes than subscribers. We're hoping not to get ever to that point. So please
It
continue.
is
to
getting
like
close. Actually, if we wouldn't have got those 9 subscribers, it probably would have been pretty close.
Pretty been tight.
Yeah, so that's gonna be my takeaway off of preseason week 1 is that there's a lot of terrible play in the NFL outside of the first strings. A lot of terrible play. And when we talk about next man up and things of that nature, okay, a second or a third string guy plugged into the first string along with the first stringers around him can have less, of a spotlight on him. But when you put the entire third string out there, there's bad football going on, and it's amazing to me how bad it goes from first string to second string to third string.
Hey, Ty, did you see this James Harden thing? What happened with this?
I saw somebody send me a clip that said
that was me who sent it.
He's a liar.
So basically, if they came out and supposedly, I don't know, something happened. There was trade talks between the Clippers and the 76ers about James Harden getting traded to LA.
But then I thought they said trade talks are off. We're staying in Philadelphia.
Last night. That was last night.
So I thought that was weeks ago.
Well, last night it broke that they were in the 76ers were ending trade talks. They were no longer going to trade James Harden. He was off the market. They were shutting it down, and that was it. James Harden, I guess, I don't know if he was speaking at a basketball camp or
it looked like it was his basketball camp since they had pictures of him on the wall.
Came out and said, I just wanted to tell you guys that Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never play for any organization that he is a part of. And he said, I want to clarify that.
Is he the GM?
Again. Yes. Who he played for in Houston as well, too. He goes, I just want to clarify this again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never, ever play for an organization that he is a part of. But he made it a point of emphasis to say it multiple times about the hatred and the vitriol that he has.
He's an idiot.
I will say this. The levels that James Harden goes to get traded, you got to admire the guy, dude. He wore
I don't at all.
He wore that fat suit in Houston, when he was walking around in there. I mean, just the money that he'll spend at strip clubs just to make sure that he looks like a bad. I think he's
an idiot.
He's a different character, bro.
He's gonna end up Colin Kaepernick in himself to where the NBA owners collude to blackball him.
Well, I don't think he'll ever get paid again. I mean, listen, that Game 7 against Boston is who. You can't come out
he wants a max deal. He wants a max deal
and be that guy. You have to make shots. You have to be aggressive. You can't be passive and not make shots in a Game 7 like that.
As a matter of fact,
everybody around you is going absolutely.
I hope the other GMs get together, and I hope he never plays again. Because what has he proven as far as what his integrity is when it comes to a basketball organization? He's a prima donna that if he doesn't get his way, or if he doesn't like what's going on, he's going to disrupt your franchise to the point where you have to get rid of him. And eventually, other GMs obviously are going to know this, and you're not going to get shit for him on the trade, and you're going to get stuck holding a bag or a player that just doesn't want to play for you. That is the stigma of James Harden right now. Why anybody would want to sign him is beyond me, because it might be good to start with, and he might be the rah guy, but what happens if somebody says, James, you travel too much. You turn the ball over too much. I don't want you shooting these many threes. He's going to cry. He's going to be a baby. He's going to pout. He's going to demand his release.
Well, I mean, he took that role this year.
Fade into the distance, bro.
With Philadelphia. Listen, if you're a Tyrese Maxey fan like I am, I think this is great news for you because we're going to get to see Tyrese kind of flourish, in my opinion, in Philly. Breakout year incoming for Tyrese Maxey. Also, have you watched any of the U.S. men's basketball as well, too? They are representing our country right now. Playing in the FIFA World Cup of basketball. They played Spain yesterday, who won the World Cup last time when they played, and they beat them. So they're playing incredible team ball, dude. It's actually really nice to watch, and it's a young crop of kids. Jalen Brunson, you got Edwards out there as well. They got Paolo Banchero playing the 5 spot to go along with Jaren Jackson. It's literally a team that they're all averaging 15 points. I think it's just cool to see. As opposed. Okay, I'll stop. Go ahead.
I'm waving the flag, bro. I'm with you. I don't have one. I'm waving the flag. Go USA. Woo. Woo.
Yeah, Harden, Durant, and Westbrook buff, and let's go ahead and throw in Serge Ibaka as well too on that team, who in his prime was an absolute monster and just an incredible athlete. Unfortunate what egos will do sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's what happens
when it comes down to it.
What are you gonna do?
Anyway, anything else you got?
I think that's gonna. I think that's gonna about do us today. A little short one, not really short, but
Buff, TJ, anything you guys got? You guys want to hear about, or we're gonna go ahead and probably.
We'll be back on Wednesday with the Gap Wedge Wednesday boys, who once again hit another one. These guys are on absolute fire. So if you haven't tuned into Gap Wedge Wednesday, make sure 11:30 is when the boys come on. They're going to give you their picks, and they have been absolutely on fire. They've hit 11 out of 23 winners, which is absolutely insane, the amount of money that you could have been winning if you're following these picks. So make sure that you check back in Wednesday, 11:30 with the Bad Burrito boys. And then we got some more NFL football coming up at the end of the week that we'll obviously recap. Hopefully some of the starters and some of the other people are going to start playing so we can get a better outlook on what we're actually going to have this season. And we'll see what happens from there.
Did you watch how it ended?
No.
The golf?
I got the burrito on the text, and so I went to look, and I saw Lucas Glover was tied, so I just assumed that he wanted a playoff.
So they had Cantley and Glover. They had both.
Oh, wow.
outright to win. So they went into the playoff, and it was a free roll because obviously Glover was the longer odds. But Cantley steps up on the very first playoff hole, and he hits his ball, and it's like starting to draw a little bit, bounds, literally takes one extra oscillation into the water. And so then Glover just stepped up, hit a hybrid in the middle of the fairway, knocked it up there, got up and down for his par, and got out of there. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool when you got both outrights heading into a playoff against each other.
My question is, do you live bet the bigger of the odds on the first playoff hole? I think you do to cover. But we'll see.
But it was only. I mean, you're free rolling because you're either winning X or you're hitting Y. So it really doesn't really.
Until I say you just cover your entry off the other one. Well, that's going to do it for us today. We'll be back Wednesday, Gap Wedge Wednesday. We'll talk all about this week's tour events. We'll see what happens between now and Wednesday. Hopefully, we get a little bit more clarification on this Wander Franco incident and figure out what exactly is going to happen. So, for all you fantasy baseball guys out there that have him, you might want to be looking for a substitution going into the playoffs, unfortunately.
Welcome to the team, Dansby Swanson. It's a pleasure to have you. Go Cubs, go. Former Brave, too. I mean, this is just a match made in heaven for our team, the uninformed fan. And it's amazing that you're going to come on to give us our playoff push to really get us over the hump here. Really appreciate you, Dansby.
Appreciate you, Dansby. We'll see you out on the field. Everybody, you guys